Do you know there is a cemetery hidden in the woods near Chicago where people say the dead do not stay underground? They walk the paths under the trees, and every person who enters feels watched before they reach the broken fence? Paranormal investigators call it one of the most haunted burial grounds in America, because the activity begins from the road, not from the graves. Year 1925, Midlothian, Illinois. Hunters returning through the forest heard footsteps beside them in the leaves. When they turned, nobody stood there. Moments later, a silent black car rushed past them and vanished into the trees. Decades later, drivers report the same thing on the exact road. Locals call it the ghost car of Bachelors Grove. In 2022, two college friends, Tom and Alicia, visited Bachelors Grove at sunset to record a short video. The path grew darker as the trees closed overhead. The air became heavy, like rain without clouds. Alicia pointed her flashlight between the stones. A woman in a long white dress sat on a broken tomb, head lowered, hands folded. They whispered if she needed help. When Tom called out, the woman lifted her face. Her eyes were pale and empty, and the smile on her face was too calm for any living person. The flashlight flickered. The woman faded into the cold air. They ran toward the lagoon. There, a small wooden house stood between the trees, a dim yellow light glowing in the window. Tom said no house existed on any map. The door opened without sound. Something moved across the boards. Alicia blinked, and the house disappeared. Only trees remained. Tom felt a hand touch his shoulder. He screamed. Nobody stood behind him. They found the exit by following the distant sound of the road. At the car, a black shape glided past the windshield, like a car moving through forest without tires. The engine would not start until the shape vanished. The next day, they searched the history of Bachelors Grove. That is where the truth explains the haunting. The cemetery began in the 1840s, used by German settlers, a quiet family burial ground in the woods. But during Prohibition in the 1920s, gangsters used the same forest as a hidden dumping site. Victims were thrown into the lagoon, buried under stolen stones, and mixed with the graves of peaceful settlers. The cemetery lost names, identities, and respect. The ground held two kinds of dead: families who wanted peace and victims who never received justice. The spirit seen sitting on the stone, photographed in 1991, is believed to be a woman who lost her child, buried in a place that later became a crime scene. The phantom farmhouse appears because settlers once lived nearby, their homes erased by time. The silent car returns because bodies once traveled this road unseen. The activity is not random. It is confusion between two histories buried together, fighting to be remembered. Spirits walk the path because they do not know which grave belongs to them anymore. If you enjoyed uncovering this mystery, go watch another Spooky Earth video, because the next story will take you somewhere even darker and even more real.